Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. As you see, even the worms are starting to come up out of the ground after all the rain that we've been getting around here. But seeing worms coming up out of the ground is a good thing, because that means your soil is good. Worms do not like very hard soil. And they actually help break up the soil a little bit, so it makes it more airy and allows the roots from your grass and all to grow properly. Anyway, the project for today, I have something inside the house I'm going to do because I just don't know. It rained this morning. We got up at 5:30 and I thought it was going to be nice. Everything was dry on the lanai upstairs. Then all of a sudden it started raining. And it's kind of a drizzly kind of a morning this morning right now. So I think it's a good opportunity to do a project on the inside. Although we haven't received our bulk buying shipment yet, for all those projects, we hand carried over one item that we're going to do on a project today. Hopefully it won't be too challenging, but it's going to take a little bit of an effort because, well, I'm not going to get into it now. We'll get into it after the intro. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Yeah, that does look pretty sad. If you remember, that's the papaya tree. That's the red lady papaya tree that we moved from that position over there to this position over here the other day. Although it still looks pretty rough, it's not dead. Well, at least it's not dead right now. So I am hopeful. I have optimism, and I'm hoping that this guy will pop back in at some point. You got to see the leaves, even though they're drooping like this, which this is indication of shock. But they're not yellow. If the plant was actually dead, you would start seeing a lot of leaves just like this. Now that's not dead, that's just older growth, because what the papayas do as they grow, the lower leaves, they shed. They grow yellow, they grow frail, the connection to the stalk becomes weak and they fall to the ground. Or what I do is I pop them off just like this. I will come over and I'll get rid of them because I think they look ugly. Just like that. So anyway, we're still hopeful that this one's going to be okay. Now the project for today is Ness asked me to install one of those. It's a semi-automated bidet. We have the automatic electric bidet in the master bedroom, bath up on the second floor in the comfort room up there, and that's the one that plugs in. You just push a little button and it sprays a little water with oscillating and pulsating and all that kind of stuff. And I like that. We didn't think, or I didn't think enough to plan ahead to put power behind the one on the first floor, which is where the two bedrooms are on the first floor, nor did I think about putting one inside the basement, because the basement, the bath wasn't even thought about until, or the bathroom wasn't even thought about until after construction began. We decided to go ahead and include a bathroom down there. But there are alternatives, and the alternatives are a manual. There's actually a manual type of bidet that you can use. And you know, in Asia, whether it be Southwest Asia or Pacific Asia like we are over in this area, bidets are very popular, and it's very hygienic, and we are sold on them. We have them in our house in the US, and we have them here also in the Philippines. Now normally there's those little wands that you have, the little spray thing, and those are the type of bidets that are standard in most of the house over here. That's enough on the explanation. Let's go inside and take a look at the product, and then we'll do an installation on it in the first floor comfort room. Right, let's go ahead and take a look at the product that we're going to install today. This is the Luxe Bidet Neo 120, and it's all manual, and you'll see when we open up the box right here. I got to tell you, this was very affordable. This was less than $30, probably around 1,500 pesos equivalent, somewhere in that area. So very inexpensive, of course, like everything else, made in China. But we're hoping for good results. When we research for products, we do a lot of reviews. Just like we do our own reviews on My PI Dream, we look at other people's reviews as well. That's the way to be the most informed about your purchase selection when you are buying something. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what's inside. So anyway, according to this, a better toilet experience starts here. Well, let's hope so. Anyway, here is some of the hardware that they have inside. It's sort of like an adapter for the angle valve. So I'm hoping we don't have to buy any more hardware to install this right here. This will give us the water to allow water to access the actual control mechanism for the bidet. And this is the device right here. Now this device, what it's going to do, it's going to sit, I think there's a manual in here. You see the manual, and it's going to sit just like this right here. As you see, this is the control, which is the control here. It sits underneath the seat right here, and it's just a manual operation, and you do it manually over here. There's no electronics, no batteries to replace. It has a couple of sections right here, these two pieces, which will connect underneath the two where you secure your toilet seat, and it's actually a no-brainer. This is pretty easy to install. If okay, I'm going to say right now, it's pretty easy to install if you didn't have the challenge that we're going to have today, and it's going to take a little while. Normally, this whole installation is probably 30 minutes or less to do this, but it's going to take a little bit more of an effort, and I'll show you why. Let's go ahead and go back into the comfort room on the first floor, and I'll show you the challenge that we have for today. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our challenge for today. Again, here's our lavatory, and normally it would take about 15 to 30 minutes to install this item if we didn't have the challenge that we have here today. And it's by no fault of the way this was installed. It's because of the design of this lavatory, which we purchased it because of its unique design. But you can see underneath the back, let me go ahead and move the trash can out of the way just a little bit. You can see that there's no access points here to be able to get underneath to get to the connections here. You have to go behind, and you can't get your hand inside here. There's no room. So the only way to be able to get to these connections right here is to we're going to have to remove the entire toilet. It's going to have to come out. So we're going to do that. It's going to take a little bit of surgery, I call it, but it's a little bit of work, and we'll remove it. We'll access the toilet seat lid. We'll remove it. We'll install the new bidet, hook up the plumbing, and then we'll test it out. Well, the first thing we're going to have to do, we're going to have to remove these little covers, because these there's a screw behind here that secures the lavatory to the frame base down here. So we'll just pop this thing off, get this off. And then there's a screw here, or we'll be taking out the screw on both sides. Now, I'm really fortunate, I guess I can say I'm really fortunate that my builder, his laborers, never completed this job. This still doesn't have the grout that goes up underneath here. That was something I was going to do. I did the installation upstairs myself of the lavatory, and I did the grouting, so it's completed, but we don't have to do what we're doing today to that one because the bidet is installed. But it's a good thing. Again, he was responsible for finishing. He never finished any of this stuff here, which, as you remember, a lot of the projects around here, the contractor just bailed before he finished the project. So I guess it's a good thing that there's no grout here, so that we don't have to worry about destroying the grout right now. Now, with both of the retaining screws removed, we'll go ahead and make sure that the toilet doesn't have any water left inside of it. First, we're going to make sure that the angle valve is turned off. evacuate all the water. Now it's going to be okay if we spill some water. Remember, this is a wet room and there is a drain right over there. So if the water flows into that, and that's the purpose of putting drains in the wet rooms. The wet rooms are at a lower level and they are situated such that if you do have an accidental spill, or if you're cleaning, it will go down the drain. Okay, now it's time to try to relocate the lavatory so we have access to the back of it. Now what I like about this lavatory, its design is really nice. It doesn't use a wax seal. You know, the round wax seal that goes underneath the bottom. And over so many years, sometimes they deteriorate and you get leaks from them. What this uses is a rubber socket in the back, and it actually slides into it. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull it back in this direction to try to get it to separate from that connection. Now this is the way it goes inside of the PVC that goes down to the septic tank. These will actually go to the side like this when we put it back on. Now we have access to the back. We'll go ahead and do the installation of the bidet seat. Now these seats are really easy to remove. They have a little button that you pop these off and the entire seat just comes right off. Next thing is have some covers on here. We need to pop the covers off, and they have some retaining screws. So, as with many things that say they're one size fits all, often you get a problem with that, and we have a problem with this system right here. We are extended out as far as we can on the back where the fittings are right here. We're as far as we can go moving the toilet seat forward, and as far as we can go with the bidet going. We're at the max hole it is right here. It really needs, this hole needs to go back even just a little bit further, but it doesn't. So when they try to do these to fit all different sizes, sometimes it doesn't work. We don't need to go forward, we need to go back just a little bit. But you can't, because if you look, you see here the little sprayer nozzle right here that has this cover. It's up against the wall of the lavatory itself. Now, when you close this, what happens is this little lip right back here, let me show you, the lip where the little door, and this door is on here for clean, this is a cleaning door. What happens is this part of the toilet seat, it's got the round curvature inside there, which we can't move it anymore forward because of the design here. It hits the little door, the cleaning door, and I'll show you what happens if you were to sit on the toilet. See, it will pop it open. It's not good, not a good design. So we have to do a modification or not use this. So we're going to try a modification first. We're going to try to, I think the best thing to do so we don't destroy the stock toilet lid, which I don't want to do that. We'll do a little modification on this 1,500 peso add-on that we're doing right here. I don't want to mess with this toilet seat, although I have an extra one because we have the one from upstairs for because we removed it for the bidet that we have, the electric bidet up there. So let's see if we can go ahead and trim this just a little bit. Okay, well I ended up doing what I didn't want to do. I got the old grinder out and I ground down, you can see I ground down a section so that it fits on the top of here. Actually, there's clearance now, but there's still a little bit of an angle on here. It makes a little clicking sound, but it doesn't pop open anymore. See, when you sit down, you will have no problem with this. I think we're good there. We can still have this for the cleaning. The lid's all still closed. Now, I want you to look at something here. You see, we didn't do anything with adjusting any of the height here. There is an adapter that you can have. You see the bumpers that are underneath here? Well, you can buy from that company, from Luxe. There are some bumpers that you put, they fit underneath here, but they lift the seat up something like this. It looks absolutely horrible. So your seat is actually sitting up just like this, and I refuse to go with that. I think the little modification that I did here is more satisfactory than actually using the huge bumpers that just does not look right. So I think we're good here. So the next thing I have to do is I need to start hooking up the plumbing. All right, well, the next step is to go ahead and start hooking up some of the plumbing. We're going to hook the T-valve here. We're going to hook the T-valve to this connection, the inlet that goes to the water reservoir on the back of the lavatory. And then what we'll do is we'll hook this hose back to the bottom of the T-valve. And this will give us some water access connection right here that will feed the bidet over here. We'll put a hose on that. So let's go ahead and get that done now. With the lavatory back in position, I checked no leaks for the little T-valve that we have over here. I put the little covers on here. We'll put the toilet seat back on. And I already did a test for the water, and I'll show you in just a minute how this actually works here for the bidet section. So let's go ahead and finish. I got to complete putting these screws back in, put the caps on, put the lid on, put the seat back on. Then we'll do our final check. All right, I think we're ready for a functional check. And since this is Nessa's initiative, she was the one who carried this in her box, her baggage from the US, and she was the one who actually purchased it. This is what she wanted for the first floor. We're gonna let her test it out. So let me go ahead and see if she can test this out and let us know what she thinks. All right, Ness. Let me know what you think. It's ready.
Okay. Wish me luck.
I think I should have told her not to turn up the valve too high. I guess you figured it out.
Awesome, baby. Thank you.
Good
job.
Good?
Yeah.
Two thumbs up?
2 thumbs up. And a few.
All right, well, I think I'm going to close for today. But before I close, and I was working inside the comfort room inside here when I was doing the install of the bidet. I saw something over my shoulder that I thought would be really interesting to many of you out there that are living in the Philippines and are purchasing things like at Wulcon or City Hardware or in the mall at Ace, wherever you go shopping at. And it has to do with generic brands. And it's amazing when you come over here how a name brand is actually a generic brand, which is actually just a something that's manufactured in China. Let me try to relate it to things in the US. In the United States, if you go to Walmart, Walmart has its own name brand. They call it Great Value. It's a very discounted item. whether it be on coffee or sugar or pretty much anything, chips, cereal, whatever. They have their own name, but what they do is they get the main manufacturers like Kellogg's or Bayer for drugs or things like that. They get and they purchase from them, they relabel, they rebrand it under their own name, which is great value at a very big discount. Where something might cost $5 for some coffee, you could probably pay $3 for it, and it's the same exact stuff, but it's packaged differently. It has to do with marketing. They were able to get two different demographics of people to buy the product, but they get to sell more of the product that way. Well, in the Philippines, they have something very similar to that. I'm not sure if you're aware. Let me show you something right now. Yesterday, I had to install a new in here, as a matter of fact, in this comfort room, this is a manual bidet, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is Cash. This is a German name brand. You'll see, especially in Wolcon, you'll see a lot of the Cash, and they honor it by saying German craftsmanship and things like that. Well, this actually isn't made in Germany. This is made in China, and I'm going to show you it broke. So much for German craftsmanship. No, I can't say because their German craftsmanship is very good. I buy a lot of things, especially for the builder at Feliz, that are German manufactured, because I respect the German products. But this one right here, it just started leaking, and I'm not really sure what caused the leak. I could probably let it sit in some vinegar for a period of time, and maybe it would stop leaking if I could figure out how to take this portion apart, because it's leaking from here. But anyway, again, Cash. You see this right here. Well, I went down to get a replacement, and I was in Ace Hardware, and they had Watergate products. I like Watergate products too, because as a matter of fact, you see this. This is the Cash. This is the Watergate. I'm going to show you. When you put this inside of here, which is what you see, this is the Cash inside the Watergate package, but let me show you this and the Watergate product itself. Now, this is the Watergate. This is the Cash. They are the identical. They are the exact same item. This screws into this base right here, but they are the exact same item. But before I throw this away, I just thought this would be something you might be interested in. So if you want to save a few pesos, take a look and see if you can find items that are very similar inside the big box stores that have the same shape, same design, everything. You might find out that they are the exact same item, and you can save yourself a lot of pesos. What are you guys doing in the Kubo? Huh? What are you doing in the Kubo, huh? Somebody left the door open. And who let the dogs out? Who? Well, anyway, before I close for today, I have a couple alibis from yesterday's episode, the Bahay Kubo time that we had. Somebody made a comment on the channel yesterday about the fence, and when I was doing the pricing for the fence. Of course, there's something that I forgot. If you also have lighting like what we have here at Villa Feliz, you have to include the electrical, the electrician for the labor for that. I will tell you right now, when you hire an electrician is going to be at a higher labor cost than a general laborer, because it's a specialty. And of course, all of the lighting materials that you have, the wire, the light fixture itself, and I will tell you, it's pretty expensive, especially if you have as many lights as we have around here, because we have interior and exterior lights as well. Also, somebody was asking about how are all the palms doing on the outside of the fence line, and I'm going to show you that right now. So as you can see, the palms are doing great here. The Hawaiian or the foxtail palms that we have here and the regular palms, these have grown. I've noticed because before when I planted, if you remember what the earlier videos here when we were actually putting these plants out here, you could see the wall really well. I was constantly washing the wall from things like splash off, like you see right here from when it rains, and it was all over the place. But the plants are actually helping prevent that. I myself or my gardener haven't had really much level of effort to mess with that, although it could use a little bit of a cleaning right now. But the foxtails are doing fairly good. I can't really tell. I imagine they're growing. I have to go back and look at the original videos, but it looks like they're growing as well. So if you look down here, it's actually a nice view, and a lot of the small shrubs that we have are flowering. I'm getting a lot of, they need some trimming. This side is the west side of the house, and it gets a lot of sun. These are doing well. I'll show you the front side, which is actually the north side. It doesn't get as much sun, so they don't have as much growth as we have over here. Now here we are on the north side, and you see I think not quite as much growth, and we don't have the foxtail palms over here as well because we have electrical wires up here, and we have to make sure that we don't have anything that's going to interfere with our electrical. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. A task done, a task out of the way. And I always say, if you have a lot of things to do, try to keep yourself busy and try to do these tasks. Beautify your home, beautify your mind, keep things active, keep yourself healthy. Tomorrow, I don't know what the schedule is for tomorrow. I was kind of hoping that we got a ballot buy-in shipment in today. I got to go in and check inside to see what the status of that is. But I know definitely sometime this week we are going to receive a shipment, and that has more projects to do around the house, and I hope you'll enjoy those as well. Thank you very much for all of you, for all the great comments that everybody sends every single day, and thank you very much for getting other people to subscribe to the channel. If you know someone who likes DIY type of projects, or if you just know somebody that is interested in the Philippines and about things that go on in the Philippines, please share that with them so that we can build our subscriber base up. So until tomorrow, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream in the right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed. You'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right, and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.